Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Let's title this The Problem with Religious Nationalism and Why No Religion Owns Civilization, and then somewhat of a global history of ethics. Now, apparently there seems to be a rise in Christian nationalism in America and in other countries as well. Many are claiming that wherever Christian values have gone, that civilization has always improved. Now, to me, that's rather myopic, and especially considering that Europe is in a kind of a post-Christian era, perhaps too in America. The nuns, no religious affiliation, have claimed approximately 3 out of every 10 Americans. So let's first recognize that Christianity obviously is only 2,000 years old at best. And there were many cultures before that lived very ethical lives, and the opposite. And even those within those 2,000 years, can we point to civilizations where they lived very successful lives while much of Christianity was in the depths of depression, slavery, etc.? When any religion makes such exclusive claims, they collapse a very complex multi-civilizational history into a single narrative. A more careful view shows that ethical sophistication, social organization, and cultural flourishing have appeared in many traditions long before, alongside, and independent of Christianity. Christianity, historically recent, emerged in about the 1st century CE, rooted in the life, of course, and teachings of Jesus Christ, who was obviously Yeshua, the Aramaic-speaking Jew. And it arose within the Roman Empire. Now, humans have been around for what, 150,000 years? Which is not that long. Large-scale human civilizations with cities, writings, and complex institutions have only been around for the last, say, 6,000 years. However, ethical systems can be found in many groups dating back tens of thousands of years, obviously long before Christianity or any major religion. Let's look, for example, at the Indus River Valley civilization, the Valley of the Hindus. It goes back approximately 6,000 years. Long before Christianity, the Indian subcontinent had advanced urban planning, philosophical systems, universities like Nalanda, and ethical frameworks centered on dharma. Ashoka the Great, 3rd century BCE, ruled one of the largest empires in history and embraced nonviolence, compassion, and religious tolerance. Similarly, the Sumerian civilization may be equally ancient. They had independent cities and agricultural foundation, social and religious structure and writing. So too, the ancient Egyptian civilization, highly organized with social structure, religion, and writing. Chinese as well, and Japanese, highly developed cultures, language, sense of morality. During deeply Christian centuries in Europe, we also see events like the Black Death, the Spanish Inquisition, witch trials, and feudal inequality. Now, when it comes to ethical insight, an honest approach is that ethics are not owned by any one tradition. It emerges wherever humans reflect deeply on life. Each tradition contributes something real, but none owns civilization itself. Human ethical genius is far older, wider, and deeper than any single religious narrative. Now, some will often say, where does this morality come from? And others, like Christopher Hitchens, for example, says it's innate in humans. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be this far. Now, as a Hindu, we would go a little bit further, because innately we are all what we call the Atmana. We are this inner essence, if you will, of love and light and energy, which can be misused or used in a very constructive way. This is the inner, innate experience that causes one to act in a certain way. Now, do we see similar ethical structures producing flourishing elsewhere? For example, the Tircoral, written by Saint Tiruvallvar, contains 1,330 concise couplets covering virtue, wealth, and love, emphasizing universal ethics. The chorale is deeply embedded in Tamil culture. That's in South India. It has been for over 2,000 years. It's used in education, political rhetoric, and cultural life. In many courts of law in South India, they swear on the Tirukkural. Confucian ethics as well shaped Chinese civilization, emphasizing ritual propriety, humanness, moral leadership. Confucius stressed merit-based civil service and stable government, high order and continuity without Christian theology, long-lasting governance structures, cultural resilience. Buddhist ethics, which mirrored its predecessor Hinduism, stressed nonviolence, compassion, detachment from greed, right conduct. Hinduism, Buddhism, Jain, and Sikhism have to this day tremendous influence around the world, promoting human welfare and tolerance. Like all religions, which are, of course, human creations, and as humans we create positive and negative things, if you will, Christianity, too, exemplified love of neighbor, forgiveness, charity, humility, resulting in producing hospitals, charity institutions, preservation of knowledge. So, too, where there are many negative outcomes in all of the religious traditions, because, again, they're created by human beings. We have religious wars, inquisitions, suppression of dissent. So the claim that, quote, civilization improves wherever Christian values go does not hold universally. A more accurate formulation: civilizations flourish when they cultivate strong ethical frameworks, regardless of origin. If ethics were the monopoly of one tradition, civilization would have begun only once, in one place. History shows instead that wherever humans have reflected deeply on life, ethics and civilization have arisen. So too, their ever-present shadows, power, greed, distortion, and conflict. So while most, if not all, nations have some religious roots to be respected, we now live in a cosmopolitan world where no single religion can define the whole of society. To forget the roots, that's shallow. To impose them on others is divisive. The task before us is more demanding: to honor the roots while building societies that protect the dignity and freedom of all. And in that search for balance lives the possibility of peace and growth. As Hindus would say, Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. But it must be a peace through strength and justice. Om Shanti.